Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinx.
You know I have trending stories. You know I do. Roofie on fire. Ayo, you know who burns down the internet?
Dr. Abati.
Burns the internet down.
If you just want us to take it on a low, one thing I just like to say is, please agree, this at gunpoint. Implication.
Yes, you know why we are so excited, viewers? Yesterday, Mrs. Abati celebrated her birthday and burned down the internet with these pictures. Happy birthday, That is Kikeloma Abati. Yesterday, she celebrated her birthday. Beautiful woman. Inside out. I've met her a couple of times and she is so graceful, down to earth. Dr. Abati, you are the luckiest man alive to have this woman. Dr. Abati, I'm blushing too.
I'm blushing. And you know, it's just 5 days away.
Yes.
It's going to be doctor's birthday.
Oh yes, and we're going to. Oh, he's too shy.
Double implication.
Dr. Abati, well done. You want to say something quickly? Quickly. You're too shy. Oh, this is the first time I've seen Dr. Abati so shy.
He's laughing. I mean, look at the picture as well.
Beautiful. All right, I hope you guys had a great birthday party yesterday.
Thank you.
All right, happy birthday again, Kikeloma. Well, all right, let's begin what's trending then. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Monday, shortly before the commencement of the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting at the State House in Abuja, set the ground rules for the attendance of the meeting, including restricting unauthorized persons gaining access into the council chambers of the State House. Well, Tinubu read out the names of those authorized to attend the meeting and called out his son, Seyi Tinubu, who the president said had been seen sneaking in and out of council meetings.
Last week, I noticed the undue access of people sneaking in and out of this council. Including, I saw the photograph of my son. So he's sitting behind the cubicle there. That is not acceptable. I will announce to you those people who are supposed to be here with my consent. And this I've allowed man as a policy by Onanuga Information and Strategy. Akim Mori Okola, Principal Private Secretary, and Damilotu Aderemi, Private Secretary. Those are the people who are granted exceptions to be here when we are conducting the business of the nation. Unless I send for you, don't come.
I mean, I loved this speech. This is trending. I mean, I wanted to take this story yesterday, but I'm so happy it started trending again yesterday. Roofie on fire. I thought the president spoke very well. We have seen Seyi Tinubu, if you can pull up those videos of him. I think this video particularly was when he was organizing the Youth Day. But I think the president said something right. I wanted to ask Dr. Abati, because he's been in some of these meetings, but go ahead.
So for me, yes, the president said something right. He pointed it out. But it's a very sad indictment on the president himself. So is that how much a joke we have become as a nation that his son makes it to Federal Executive Council meeting, sitting in cubicle? Is that how much we've come as a nation as a joke? That he even had to say it. So that means, Oji, if I become president tomorrow, I can pack my friends to come and sit in Federal Executive Council meeting. I can say, come in. What kind of presidency are we running? What kind of country are we running? I'm happy he has put his foot on the ground as regards it, but it's also an indictment on all of us. If his son had a ministerial position, I've got no qualms. But president's son, Federal Executive Council meeting, and on the contrary, you know the shocking thing about Nigeria is, yes, a lot of people are saying, oh yes, he's done it, he's said, he's spoken against his son and all. That's not the formative matter. The formative matter is that we have become so porous as a country that when matters of state affairs are discussed, family members are seated there. What country are we building?
Dr. Abati.
Okay, well, first, I think it's a good thing that the president has addressed the matter. The hallowed chambers of the Federal Executive Council It's not a marketplace where people will just go there and, come and observe. It's not a social media forum where anybody can just come and carry a phone and be listening to state matters. Because the president talked about affairs of the nation. To the best of our knowledge, Seyi Tinubu is not officially a member of the government of Nigeria. He's a grown adult. I think we've made a comment here. There's no provision for office of the first son or office of the first daughter. Now, so these grown-up persons, what President Tinubu has just emphasized is that they should go and find something meaningful to do. Being the son of a governor or the son of a president is not a profession. It's not a job. And it cannot be a vocation either. So, and I hope Seyi Tinubu would take his cue from that. He will not, of course, he will not disobey the president of Nigeria, even if the president of Nigeria is his father. That's number one. Number two is that the president now listed the persons who are allowed to be in council. Now, that will include the special advisor on policy, the special advisor on information and strategy, and then also the principal secretary to the president, and also the private secretary to the president. Yes, these persons, the president has the powers to say these are the people I want here. Yes. But I wanted to add that the president left out the DG of the Bureau for Public Procurement, because one of the major items at the Federal Executive Council is that people will bring, applications. They want contract awards. He is the man from BPP that the president can always check with and say, please, has this thing gone through due process? So that's important. The third point, the president directed the secretary to the government of the Federation, who, of course, prepares the minutes for the council meeting, to make sure that nobody walks into the chambers if they are not supposed to be there. Well, it's also a security job. The CSO, the chief security officer to the president, mans the door, or his boys man the door, when a council meeting is expected to start. One, to make sure that if you are not expected there, you are not allowed in. If you come late, in fact, if you come late to council and the president is already seated, nobody will open the door for you. The security people will have to tell the CSO, who will go and take special permission from the president. So I think it's good that the president has put his foot down here, and all other persons should take the cue. It's not just for Seyi Tinubu, it's for, even the sons and daughters of governors. No, they should and friends of governors and friends of the president. Yeah. They can't just be making themselves available when they should be doing something meaningful with their time as grown adults. Except, of course, the president decides to give them a formal appointment. All right. Well,
the Federal Executive Council meeting was the first meeting held after the Supreme Court of Nigeria affirmed Tinubu as Nigeria's president. Attendees at the council meeting decided to toast the president's victory by singing the song of allegiance. On your mandate, we shall stand. Let's take a look.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
On your mandate we shall stand. On your mandate we shall stand. On your mandate, on your mandate, on your mandate we shall stand.
All right, I have to put some context to that video, Ayo, because that video was trending, and people were saying, why are you singing on your mandate we shall stand? But that was when he was affirmed Nigeria's president, and they gave him a toast, Ayo.
Yeah, they raised the toast to him, congratulating him because it's been a battle since the elections in February, then the inauguration on May 29, and then the battles in courts, the difference, whether it be in court or even on the streets or social media, a lot has happened since then. And I guess it's also the excitement that now they can face the issue of governance, and now they can begin to properly deal with the challenges facing Nigeria and Nigerians currently. So it was a joyous mood, but I must say that beyond the president's calling out of some of the people who are not supposed to be in chambers, and also the people who, and the celebration of his affirmation, is the fact that there were also critical decisions made at that meeting. The supplementary budget agreed on 300 billion naira allocated to repair of roads, one of which is Third Mainland Bridge, which might be a huge relief for some people who have talked about this. I know that they're going to be shutting down Third Mainland Bridge for repairs for about 3 months from this month. And so just a few things around that. Some of the items and the distillation of the budgetary provisions were also discussed. Monies approved for certain projects. So the issue and the matter of governance has now begun in earnest. Now that, as he said in his own words, their jobs are secure. So let's get to fixing this nation, economy of this nation. Let's get to fixing the poverty levels, addressing poverty levels and concerns of this nation. And I'm glad that the FEC meeting, even though he had said that it would be on a need-to-have basis, is happening currently every week. We hope this momentum will continue because there are critical issues to handle in the nation.
I like that. Dr. Bati, it was quite instructive that you mentioned the person for procurement, that person should be in the meeting, which leads me to my next story. In the wake of the outrage, trailing the approval of 57.6 billion naira for sports utility vehicles for lawmakers, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is said to have submitted a supplementary budget to the National Assembly requesting the allocation of over 7.3 billion naira for the procurement of vehicles for the State House. In the same budget, the Office of the First Lady is set to receive 1.5 billion naira for the purchase of new vehicles. The budget request is set to be part of President Tinubu's broader proposal, which includes a 2.17 trillion supplementary budget for approval by the National Assembly. Within the supplementary budget, the government intends to allocate 2.9 billion naira for the acquisition of sports utility vehicles designated for the presidential villa, and an additional 2.9 billion naira for the replacement of existing vehicles at the presidential villa. Dr. Abati, you know that this will raise a lot of eyebrows, but you know that there is more. The breakdown of the proposed expenses also include the sum of 4 billion naira for the renovation of the residential quarters of the president, while renovation of Dodan Barracks, the official residence of the president in Lagos, would also gulp another 4 billion naira. Also, the sum of 2.5 billion naira is budgeted for the renovation of Abuja House, while 3 billion naira is budgeted for the renovation of official quarters of the vice president in Lagos, bringing it to a total expenditure of 13.5 billion naira.
Well, the various official residences may well be in need of renovation, because when a president leaves, a new president comes in. There is usually a renovation because the place will be renovated to the taste of the new president. Dodan Barracks in Lagos in particular, having been abandoned more or less for a very long time, needs renovation because the other building that is in Marina has been handed over to the Lagos state government. So if the president of Nigeria comes, he will have no option but to use the Dodan Barracks, which even also has a small landing strip for helicopters. However, the one that you may query will be, this one's about vehicles. And the example of President Hakainde Hichilema of Zambia.
I had that video. I was going to play it again, but
so,
go ahead.
President Hichilema of Zambia said, look, he's not going to change vehicles. He will just be using the vehicles that are there. So the question you now raise is, the vehicles that are already attached to the First Lady's office, what is wrong with them? Are we going to change all the vehicles? And then some of the vehicles, official cars in the villa, are we going to change all of them just because we have a new president? It shouldn't be the culture that each time a new president comes, you change all the vehicles. And in any case, this is still by way of supplementary budget. Unfortunately, people are protesting because the same National Assembly that has taken over 70 billion to buy vehicles for members, he's not likely to say no. He will just say, well, I mean, since we got our own, it's good for the villa to also get their own.
I think that image on TV right now is very instructive.
Yes,
National Assembly spends 53.7 billion on cars for lawmakers in 12 years.
The third point is that in a country where inflation is shooting through the roof, there are concerns about foreign exchange. I mean, people would genuinely, legitimately feel scandalized that you are going to use public funds to go and buy luxury vehicles, for whatever purpose. So these are the issues here. Our leaders should be seen to also be cutting corners.
Yes.
They should be seen to be making sacrifice. And the most unfortunate part of it is that even when they don't make this sacrifice, these vehicles will not be bought locally. They will be imported. So, and the point has been made again and again that there are local companies here that are producing cars, and it should be good enough to produce, to patronize local car manufacturers, even if they are assembling, even if they are car assembly plants.
I love that you mentioned that. A lot of people talk about the innocent motors. This is not. This has been trending. This was trending last week. It's a local manufacturer, and they produce vehicles that can be befitting for these lawmakers and the presidential villa. But before you speak, Rufai, I spoke to our State House correspondent this morning, Adesua Omoruwan, and she talked about the fact, she said she spoke with the budget minister, and here's what she said. He says that the figures are justifiable because, there is a minimum standard that the state should provide for the presidency. Another thing that the minister also said was that, he gave an example of the German councillor who was received on Sunday, which actually got a lot of reactions because people were saying, why was he received in that manner and all of that. He said Nigerians should have provided a more befitting vehicle to pick him up. I don't know how much more that acceptance would have been, Rufai and Ayo, and that he thinks Nigerians should focus on big issues like the military getting the whooping 605 billion naira in the first instance from the Tinubu administration. Rufai, I know you want to speak. Go ahead.
So I've been itching to talk.
Yes.
Concerning the German ambassador, I think the best way to have received the German ambassador, if we're a sensible nation, I talk because I'm a patriot, should have been to use an innocent or not car to drive the German chancellor. And when the president gets in with him, he says to him, that car is made in Nigeria. That's the height of Nigerian engineering, auto engineering. Then Germany will start to take us seriously. But if we are glorifying ourselves, we could have done better, all right, then it is very, very sad for us as a nation. I specifically wanted to talk about this thing, that as we called out the senators, we are also calling out the presidency here, taking all those monies for why people are suffering. But what I really wanted to say as regards even those renovation is the fact that as a nation, we need to introspect and ask ourselves what we truly want. And I'll bring up the matter of a place called number 24 Sussex Drive. 24 Sussex Drive is the official residence of the Prime Minister of Canada. The residence had been run down for so many years. The money allocated to is about $40 million. But because the Canadian president or prime minister fears the people of Canada so much, and they must justify every amount spent, they've not been able to fix the official residence. The Prime Minister of Canada, as we speak today, does not live officially in the official residence of Prime Minister of Canada just because of $40 million. Canadian GDP is $2.11 trillion. Nigeria GDP is less than $400 billion. But you can see a country, despite the big economy and all of that, will still scrutinize its leaders. But a country with a small GDP that's not done well economically is so quick to spend frivolously on its leaders. So you can see the reason why economies like Canada does way better and economies like Nigeria and Africa generally are reducing. And that's what, to tie to what Dr. Bat said, that's what Ichilema was trying to explain to the Zambian people that they didn't get. May God help us as a nation.
All right. We'll take another story then. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has reacted to the crisis in Rivers, calling it a political party affair. Wike spoke on Tuesday when a delegation of South-South leaders paid him a visit in Abuja. Wike and the governor of Rivers State, Sim Fubara, had met at the presidential villa earlier in the day, marking the first sit-down between the duo since the crisis. Well, during the meeting with the South-South delegates from Rivers State, the minister also stated that no politician wants to be politically irrelevant by losing their base.
I don't feel threatened by anybody saying you are doing this, you are not doing that. No. I tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. So, it's a party affair. Party knows how they resolve their own mechanism. It's not an ethnic affair. Don't listen to social media. I've seen all kinds of abuses. That's why I won't talk. I know in politics, they say they should bring in 20 billion every month because somebody don't give you 20 billion. Oh, they say you want to award the whole country by yourself. That's politics. But nobody said this when I was fighting. Nobody said that. So, if you like, accuse me from here to... I won't even have a sleepless night because as far as I'm concerned, the right thing must be done. All of us want to be politically relevant. All of us want to maintain our political structure. Everybody has a base, it's not true. Yes, sir. If you take my base, I'm not politically irrelevant.
All right, for me, it feels like some sort of indictment. I mean, he has said that he is fighting, and that's what it shows at this point. Even though, he says, I'm not going to say anything. But he said a lot in that video, quickly. He
said a lot without saying anything. I think we can infer from what he said that he's actually, the reports are true that the issues happening in Rivers State is as a result of a political fight, if I say, between him and Fubara, the extent of which we're not aware of. However, he also said something I think it's quite important in terms of the fact that he said he wasn't going to respond to the allegations. But I do think that he owes the people of Rivers State, where his political base is, some form of explanation. These were weighty allegations. Absolutely. It's unfair to just let it lie and not have. I think he has a right to reply, and that he needs to use that right to reply to defend himself in terms of the allegations that have come forth.
Well said, Ayo. All right, we'll take our final story. On Tuesday, the deputy governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress in Bayelsa State, Joshua McIver, stunned users on social media after he told his supporters during the party's campaign rally in Brass local government area of the state to chase out anyone misbehaving during the November 11th election. McIver said the miscreant should be chased to the river and let to die. Let's take a look before we come back for a discussion.
Let's be prepared. On the 11th, don't joke with anybody. If anybody misbehave for 2 brass, just avoid that is making him die. Another year, just making him die. After all, don't be the other person will be the first person to die. So let's prepare and let's show them that this time around, what will take it? We are taking it for final.
Well, this is a deputy governorship candidate. I think this is such an inflammatory statement. I don't know if you spoke with
the deputy governorship candidate does not enjoy any form of immunity.
Absolutely not.
Section 308 says, people have immunity, but the categories of persons are identified. And incitement, inciting people to cause public disorder, it's a felony.
Absolutely.
So the question is, why is the man still walking free? Where are the security agencies? I'm sure there are policemen there who are supposed to be law enforcement agents. He's inciting people to violence. Now, INEC too, the Electoral Act Part of the offenses in the Electoral Act is about people inciting other people to commit violence and using foul language and all of that under the law. So I'm sure, I hope that the security agencies will take this video and follow up accordingly.
Absolutely.
To make the man answer, so that he doesn't carry out his threat.
Well said, Dr. Barrett. That's why I thought it was important to highlight that particular story. Well, I'd like to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.